Addiction doesn't begin with pleasure. It begins with relief. The first time wasn't about chasing a high. It was about silencing something. Stress, loneliness, shame, restlessness, pain you couldn't name. And when the substance or the behavior made that feeling disappear, your brain took note. Not as pleasure, but as survival. Because the brain does not care about morality, it cares about relief. Addiction is not a lack of discipline. It is a learned escape route, a shortcut your nervous system memorized. Trigger, discomfort, relief, repeat. The loop becomes automatic, not because you're weak, but because your brain is efficient. The more you repeat the loop, the less it asks for permission. Eventually, the craving doesn't feel like desire. It feels like urgency, like oxygen, like survival. Here's what makes addiction dangerous. It doesn't just hijack your behavior, it reshapes your identity. At first, you say, I use it. Then it becomes, I need it. Then quietly, this is just who I am. And that shift from action to identity is where people get trapped. Because once something becomes part of who you believe you are, quitting feels like losing yourself. But here is the truth most people miss. Addiction always gives you something. It gives relief, it gives distraction, it gives numbness, it gives control when life feels chaotic. That is why it's hard to let go. You are not just quitting a substance, you are losing a coping mechanism. And the brain panics when coping mechanisms disappear. Withdrawal is not just physical, it is psychological exposure. The emotions you've been avoiding return, unfiltered, unmanaged, loud. And without the escape, you feel them fully. This is the moment most people relapse. Not because they enjoy addiction, but because they cannot tolerate the rawness of reality without it. So how do you deal with addiction? Not with shame, not with force, and not with pretending the urge isn't there. You deal with it by understanding the loop. Every addiction has three components: the trigger, the behavior, the relief. If you interrupt the relief, the brain keeps craving. If you remove the behavior, the trigger still exists. The real work happens at the discomfort. You train your nervous system to sit in it, without escaping, without numbing, without running. At first, it feels unbearable because your brain believes you are in danger, but you are not in danger. You are in withdrawal from escape, and that distinction matters. Recovery is not about becoming strong, it is about becoming aware. You begin to notice the urge without obeying it. You watch the craving rise, peak, fall, like a wave. And every time you survive the wave without acting, you weaken the loop. The brain rewires through repetition. Addiction was repetition. Recovery is repetition too. There is one more thing. If addiction was your way of managing pain, then removing it without building something else creates a vacuum, and the brain hates vacuums. You must replace escape with regulation, breathing, movement, connection, therapy, structure. Not because they are inspirational, but because the nervous system needs alternatives. Addiction is not evil. It is an adaptation that overstayed its purpose. It helped you survive something, but survival patterns are not always meant to be permanent. You are not broken. Your brain learned a shortcut, and shortcuts can be unlearned, slowly, deliberately, with awareness. Because addiction was never about pleasure, it was about escape. And the moment you learn to face what you were escaping, the addiction begins to lose its power. Not at all once, but gradually, inside the mind, one decision at a time.